What's going on, everyone? It's Bales, and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Trade Talk video on the channel ahead of round 20. It feels weird now, having like the two in front of the rounds now. We don't have much longer to go, only 5 weeks, so we've only got 10 trades left in the season. Can you believe it? Not much longer to go, but we'll still keep going and obviously try and make our teams better by getting in the players with good runs and stuff like that. So let's go through the most trade in-out players as we always do. As always, before we do, if you are enjoying the content around here, make sure you smash a big thumbs up on the video. That'd be very much appreciated. And yeah, obviously likes on the Trade Talk is always 200. So if we can get to 200 likes, that'd be very much appreciated. We do have well over 1,000 people that do watch these videos. So if you are watching right now, it literally only takes 2 seconds. You click the like button and then you're set. So if you can do that and smash the thumbs up, let's try. I've said our record, I think, on the channel was 242 likes or something on a video or something. So if we can get 250 or beat that or whatever, that'd be fantastic. Make sure you smash the like on the video. And make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already as well. We're only 3 away as of time recording from 2.6k. So we're very, very close to hitting the 2,600 mark. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe so we can hit that goal. Our next big goal is 3,000. So let's get stuck into most traded in players. And Tom Stewart is sitting at list at 4k. And obviously we've known the numbers of trades made is obviously slowly drops as the season goes along. A few coaches obviously don't make moves as much. Like at the beginning of the year, obviously the most trading players were well over 10,000, 20,000 for a week. But now, like Tom Stewart, 4k, and he's the most trading. But I really like him as an option. He's now gone 4 tons in a row. I think Roy said on Trey's pod that Tom Stewart still has not gone under 100 in this role, and he's just looking fantastic. North this week, he's got a great run home. I know North have been quite tricky to score against. They haven't been very easy at all. But when you look at his fixtures, like North Melbourne, Adelaide, Freo, St Kilda, West Coast, I don't see any issues with those, particularly those last two as well. He could go absolutely bonkers there. As I said, 4 really good scores in a row, 105, 125, 130, 125 is obviously fantastic. Game time was up a little bit on the weekend, and he did actually get stuck on the bench in the first quarter. The game was obviously a bit of a slop. Got stuck on the other side, and he got stuck on the bench for about 8-9 minutes. So if it wasn't for that, he would have played over about 80%, which is the first time since the Essendon game that he played a decent game time in this midfield role. So, yeah, I like him. 840k, good price. Break-even still really low. I like Stewart as a pick. Zach Taylor, 3.8k jumping on. What's he priced at now? 280, negative 23 break-even. Like, if you've got the cash to spare and you need someone as decent cover on your mid-bench and with a low break-even and you want to make some more cash, he would probably be your pick. He's had 2 pretty good scores in a row, 86 and 78. Low game time in those, but he's been pretty good. If you want to part for a rookie, he's the pick. But I think at this time of the year, I think a lot of us are trying to save as much cash as possible. The only way, as I said, I tick it off if you need cash gen or you need a decent cover in your midfield where you might be able to loop someone on the bench, and if they failed, then you could always play Taylor. But for me, I think I'm just saving cash because realistically in the midfield, you want players to be scoring more than like 90, 100 that are on your field. So for me, Zach Taylor is obviously good for some teams, but some other teams I think are trying to save as much cash. Ben Keys, interesting. 3K have jumped on him after his big score of 129 points last week, 709k, 30 break even. He's been good last month since the bye, 99, 79, 110, 129. Obviously, he was showing he can score in the role without needing the CBAs. I wouldn't be bringing him in expecting him to be playing in the midfield. The only reason he got CBAs in the last quarter for that game was because Dawson was out concussed, and then Roy Laird had a bad corky that he had to deal with in the second half. So for me, I wouldn't worry about... I don't know. He's a tricky one because he's scoring well before this in the forward role, but I just still feel he could drop a 35 like he did against Richmond. He could drop a 57 like he did against Hawthorn, who he's got funny enough this week. So he has been good in games throughout the year. Like he's put up some okay scores throughout the year, like 100 in round 5 against Carlton, an 88 there against North, 89 against Brisbane, and that was without any goals as well. 88 against West Coast. So he can drop some good scores. It's just, yeah. But when you look at the scores as well, he kicked 4 goals to get a 79 against Brisbane, kicked a couple to get 99 against the Giants, 1 goal, 3 to get a 110, then 5 goals, obviously, to get the 130. So he's capable of putting up a good score. And at the end of the day, F6, if he drops a 60, you're not losing probably much anyway. So maybe you try and bring him in for the ceiling. His run's not great. I don't like Hawthorn have been tough for mids. Geelong, Bulldogs, Port, Sydney, especially those last 2. So, and if you bring him in, you probably bring him in for the rest of the year because you're realistically not wanting to use that many trades on F6. So, it's an interesting one. It could work, and I don't hate the pick. I just don't know if I trust it long term. Like, I love Keezy, but in terms of fantasy wise, I'm not sure he'll be consistent enough to really be an option for us. I guess the one bit that it would work is if you bring him in as an F7. That would be the move where I would tick it off, because then you can loop him, and what's the harm in looping a guy like Ben Keys and like Jai Simpkin, for example, or like a Brian Myers or whoever you've got there. Ben Keys is an F7 I could definitely tick. So F7, yep, I like the move at F7. As a straight F6, I'm not as confident to just chuck him on your field every week. So maybe if you had a plan to bring him in at F6 this week and then you planned on getting a Charlie Curnow or someone cheap as an F7, you could loot those two, maybe that could work. But as just a straight F6, I'm not as bullish. Adam Treloar, 2.6k jumping on. I know a lot of people obviously are looking at that score from last week as like they love the 149. Obviously, you got to remember, you're not going to get that score, unfortunately. Sydney to SCG, bit tricky, especially the fact that Jordan did go to Treloar in patches in that last time they met at Marvel. And I'm not sure what Treloar scored in that game. 94, 30 disposals, 1 mark, 4 tackles. I like Melbourne. I like the Crows. And I like North Melbourne. So if you looked at him the week after for a 3-week play and then maybe get off of him before the Giants at Mars Stadium, I could definitely get around that because it'd be a very, very good pick. But I don't know about this week. You're not going to get that sugar hit, I don't think. So if you're looking for a sugar hit for a midfielder, it's probably not the week to bring Treloar in. But hey, he's got a ceiling. We don't have many midfielders that can hit a 149 or have shown the ability to do it this season anyway. So Treloar, I don't mind. It's a bit of a pod. But I'm just worried that he could cop attention because they didn't tag Bont at all in the previous meeting. Maybe they just thought, well, we don't have any guys big enough to go with Bont. We'll sort of use our system to beat Bont, and then we'll tag someone else. So I wouldn't be shocked if like a Jordan went to Dale, Adams went to Treloar, and if Rowbottom's back went to a Bont. If that's what they do, I wouldn't be shocked if that's what they did. So yeah, Treloar, good player. I'm not sure about this week. I'd probably look at it next week. Dylan Moore, 2.1k, jumping on him. I like him as an option. I think he's the clear F5 for me. I think it's obviously the big 4, and then I think Moore is number 5 because he's got that ceiling, and I think he can hit it on a more regular basis than what a lot of these other guys can. Yes, he can drop the 70, which we've seen, obviously, not last week, the week before, when he got the 73 against Freo in that really weird game. Got the Crows this week, kicked 5 goals on the Crows earlier in the year and got a 130. I'm pretty sure it was like a 130 or high 120 score there. So I know it was at the G at home, but 132. There you go. 5 goals, 27 touches. So he played very well that game. Obviously, I was there in person to see that. Not an owner, though, but so 827. I like Dylan Moore as an option. Zorko, next on list. Yep, you just need him. Obviously, great score last week. He's got the Saints next week, so second time this season he's going to be playing him. You want to be on him by next week. So if you don't have Zorko, I like it now. So Zorko, good option. Caleb Sarong. Now, it's funny. Last week he was on the most trade out. Now he's on some of the most traded into this week. I like him. I like him as an option this week to bring in. He's got 3 favourable matchups. He's got West Coast. I don't see a tag coming there for him, so I think he'll go well. Has a good history against West Coast in the derbies as well. I know his average there is only 91, but we know he's done well in derbies before. Essendon, the MCG, I think could be quite good. Maybe a Caldwell or a Durham stands next to him, but I think teams are starting to see as well a bit of Hayden Young tagging a little bit. People seeing how damaging Hayden Young is, so maybe they're going more towards him, and Jordan Clark's obviously there as well. So I still think Sarong is probably the main tag guy, and obviously Essendon and Geelong have run taggers throughout the year. But I still feel like if he doesn't get taken against Geelong, he's going to have a really good game. And I think Eston's a bit of a neutral matchup, so I think he'll go well there. So his next 3 are good. His last 2, Giants and Port, you'd probably want to trade out by then. But if you bring him in now, 3-week play, yep, that's good. You can trade him out then in 3 weeks. So I like him, 830k. Good to see him finally go over 140. So 107 for the second time since round 3. Really good. Obviously 5 scores lower, but they were tricky at the end of the day, like Dogs, Gold Coast, who have been very up and down. Sydney, who got 96 cents. He got tagged in the second half. That would have been 100 there. Richmond, he got the Graham tag. Hawthorn, he got the Nash tag. So he's getting tagged most weeks when he doesn't go well. So I think this week he won't get tagged. I think he goes over 100. So I like Sarong as an option this week. Rowan Marshall there as well. If you're looking for Ruck, obviously the Tom de Koning and Nan Curvis owners, unfortunately, have to trade those guys out. Marshall is a very good pick. I like him and Cherry as my top 2. I probably like Cherry more just with the matchup at Geelong, but most people have got him. Marshall's a bit more unique, so 1,500 coaches jumping on him. We've obviously seen he's got the ceiling. He's hit multiple times. He's now got, 6 tons on the trot. Obviously plays high time on ground, gets plenty of the ball. His hit-outs just weren't there last week, which is actually quite surprising. He only got 24 hit-outs against West Coast, but it is what it is. His free kicks are still a bit of an issue every now and again. 4 against Sydney, 3 against West Coast, and then he obviously had 4, 6, and 6 there. So hopefully he stops giving those free kicks away and gets us more points. But he's nearly $1 million. He's the number 1 scoring player this season in terms of total points and second highest averaging behind Gawn. So, yeah, I like Marshall. Harry Sheasel, who I'm looking at bringing in this week for my own team. Obviously, I'll talk about my trades after, but I just think we all need him. It's as simple as that. He's gone, 2 of his last 3 have been 134. Obviously, the game in between that was Sydney at the SCG. Very, very tough matchup. He only got the 78. Still had 29 disposals, though, with just no tackles and only 4 marks. So I think he's definitely better than that. Obviously, he's been very good even in this midfield role. Like, I traded him in round 9. Actually, no, sorry, I traded him after round 9. And funny enough, I haven't dodged. I've only dodged one. Sorry, I've only gotten 1 bad score from him since trading him. He's been pretty good since. So she's the Ryan trade looked pretty good. After a bit, actually, no, hang on. I reckon I did trade him here because I got. Oh no, hang on, no, sorry, I got 3 games from Ryan. Then he had the bye here, so it was looking good. But now it's probably not looking as good anymore because obviously that role shifted for Ryan. But Sheasel, we need him. He's top 2-3 defender. So, yep, you're going to need him there. And then Caleb Smith rounds out the top 10. He's probably the downgrade if you need a player playing. 203k. Collingwood this week might actually go okay, to be fair. You're obviously not fielding him or anything, but yeah, 1.3 jumping on him. And if you need someone playing, he is the guy. Then obviously you got Whitfield, great option if you don't have him. Melbourne this week. Neil Bullen. I could realistically see Neil Bullen going to Whitfield. If you're going to stop someone from Giants, I think it is Whitfield. But he's shown, especially the back part of the year, that tags don't affect him anywhere near as much as what they were earlier in the year. He's able to work his opponent around the ground and get open. MCG, big ground. I think even if he gets tagged, he'll be able to work through and get to a solid enough score. So I like him. Jack Steele's a good trade target now after 4 really good weeks. 133 last week against West Coast, obviously showing that West Coast is a good matchup. But then, 105, 112 before that. And that was against Sydney, that 112 as well. Getting his marks are up since the bye. 9, 7, 5, and 9. We know for a fact when he has a lot of marks, I'm pretty sure if you go through his whole season, games he had over 5 marks, I reckon he's tonned up. So 108 there. Then he's gotten a 124, 131, 122, 100, 131, 122, 97, 112, 105, 133. So he's turned up in every game bar 1 against Port Adelaide, which is a very tough matchup there. But he did give away 3 free kicks in that one as well. But every other game he hasn't taken over that. What are the scores? He's got 120 against Collingwood with 11 tackles. Then 87, 72, 77, 96, 84, 74. So obviously, just very low scores there, and that was sort of me doing a bit of research or doing that as well, looking at Steele, because I'm keen to bring Steele potentially back into my side. He's been good. He's got every game at Marvel now as well, so I like him. Cherry, great matchup this week. If you don't have him, I'd look to potentially bring him in if you're looking for a ruck. Mannett's probably too late for me. He's been good. Like 84 last week was good. 441. You could really bring him in as an F7, but I'd almost just, if you've got the extra 170k, I'd just rather bring in Charlie Curnow if you can. Someone like that there. Mason Wood, I like. He's been consistent, averaging over 90 this year, removing that injured 7 or injured 9 or whatever he had against Collingwood earlier this year. He's got a ceiling. What was it? Injured 11, sorry. But yeah, like, he's been very good. He's only had one game below 70, and only 3 games below 80 since he returned from injury. So for me, I like Wood. He plays high time on ground as well, playing up on the wing in some games as well. As I said, got the ceiling. I like him at 760k there. And Kynan Brown as well. Obviously, we're just waiting to see if he comes back into the team, but had 27 touches and 24 tackles for like 197 points in the VFL on the weekend. So I'd find it, I can't imagine him not being in the team, to be honest. So I like him if you're looking for someone there as a 200k rookie. Moving to the most traded out players, no surprises, Jordan Dawson at the very top there. Unfortunately, in concussion protocols, he'll be missing this week, and I think he was going to go anyway. He's got a very tough run for the rest of the year. He's got Geelong next week, and I was probably looking at trading him maybe in round 23, but Hawthorn, Geelong, Bulldogs, Port, Sydney, not a great run. I love Dawson. I probably would have just unfortunately traded him anyway. But as I've said in a few things on the pod on Sunday night, 102.9 average so far this season. Just keep him on the list for next year. Potentially is an underpriced premium that might go back to 110. So someone just to watch. But yeah, been a little bit down this year with a couple of low scores. Shellmaker, yep, obviously was dropped last week. I wonder if he'll come back in. I was surprised he got dropped in the end. But so he can go. Sexton can go. He's playing forward a bit more now as well. Got a 40-odd last week, so he can go. Kruger is out this week through concussion. He can go as well. DeConing's out for the rest of the season, or I think 5 to 7 weeks, so he'll be out for the regular season, probably back for finals. He can go. Billy Dowling at 2k out is interesting. If he's your F6 and you're upgrading him to someone, I could definitely see why. But if you've got him F7, unless you need that cash, I do still like the fact looping Dowling and a Simpkin or a Myers or whoever you've got at F6. I've got Toby Green. I'm happy to loop between Toby Green and Dowling at the moment because Dowling's still going pretty solid. Like, got a 75 last week, and that's against the Bombers at Marvel. So I like that. Hawthorn this week, Adelaide Oval could go all right. I still like keeping him as an F7, but again, desperately need the cash. You could trade. Tholstrup can go. I think someone said he's out this week, or something like that. I think got injured. Or something like that from the weekend. Actually, was it concussion maybe? I know that he's out. He won't be playing this week, so he can go anyway. I'm actually just curious what he's out with because I must have either missed that or whatever. I just know that he's not playing. Melbourne injury list. Tholstrup, concussion. Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, so concussion. He'll be out this week, so he can go. Hayden Young, I wouldn't be trading. I know he only got an 89 last week, but West Coast is an easy matchup. I expect Freo to win quite comfortably in this derby compared to obviously losing early in the year. West Coast got a few injuries that have piled up over the last couple of weeks, just unfortunate ones. And key players, well, like Duggan's out this week. McGovern won't be there either, so some defensive key players there won't be playing. So for me, Young can stay for another week, and you can maybe look at trading him next week against Essendon or the week after against Geelong. But I think they're good matchups. I'll be trading him more in round 23 if you're going to trade. I think he's still a good D6. Jack Crisp, he can go, but if there was going to be a week you were going to hold him, it is the Richmond matchup. Obviously, it's a great matchup. If I could still see him going quite well even in a matchup. If he's the guy you're upgrading, I still like upgrading him. There's plenty of good options to go to. Tom Stewart's not that much more expensive. It's just, if you had other issues, I wouldn't hate having to hold Chris for one more week just because of the Richmond matchup. But again, if you want to move him on, he can definitely go. Luke Ryan, he can go. I know he's got West Coast, good matchup, but I was still a little bit hopeful with Pearce back last weekend against Melbourne. And it's got less to do about Pearce back because obviously he's out again. But it's just, Freo do just look allergic to switch the ball at all. Like, even when they're up by so much, I thought, okay, maybe they might chip it round and sort of chew off a bit of the clock and sort of let the time go. But didn't even really do that. They were trying to attack right until the very end, and that seems like what they want to do. So Ryan, he'll be a solid 80 to 90 guy. I just don't see him averaging over 100 like he was for the first half of the year and looked like the D1, D2. So for me, he can go. He's still over 800k and get a good defender in replace of him. But hopefully he goes well against West Coast, because I'm going to be holding him this week. Nank, obviously, unfortunately, has to go. Had good matchups. I really like the pick. But yeah, unfortunately, be out this week. And unless you've got a Jackson that you want to maybe put there for a week and then have Nank next week, I think it's most teams going to be a trade. Humphreys could go. Again, I still don't mind him as a D9 slash M9. Sorry, not D9. M9 slash D7 loop, because he plays early in the round against North. But again, if him down gets the cashed upgrade, I don't mind it. And there's probably less of a need to have to loop someone in the midfield or defence compared to the forward line. So I'd much rather keep... If you need to downgrade one of Humphreys or Dowling, I'd be downgrading Humphreys, just because Dowling is a decent F7 looper. And Humphreys' break-evens shot up a tiny bit with that low score last week, up to 10. I don't think he's going to make another 200-300k. He might make another 100k, unless... But then again, if he drops 100 or something, then he might start making cash. But yeah, he can go, but I still don't mind holding. Fisher can go. Just don't know what's going on with him. Looks like McKercher is the main guy back there now, and Fisher got subbed out tactically at the end of the third quarter. He can go. Richards can go, put up a couple low scores, and Collingwood just aren't playing like they were before the bye. Dempsey obviously dropped the 30. He can go. Revel can go. And the final one to touch on is Simpkin. I wouldn't be trading Simpkin. I'm actually still looking at him as a potential target. He's got a really good run. Especially for midfielders. Obviously, he's listed as a forward. He's got Geelong this week. Then he goes into Richmond, West Coast, Bulldogs, and Hawthorn to finish. So I really like that run there. As I said, I'm probably targeting him as my F6 moving forward. Maybe going Toby Green to Simpkin in like a week or two. It's not going to cost me much, and I think Simpkin's a pretty good F6 to have. So I actually like Simpkin still as an option if that was the best you get to in the forward line. So they're the most trade in-out players. In terms of top 5 targets, it is a bit more difficult this time of year to give a top 5 targets, but I know you guys do like the top 5 targets, so I'll try my best to give a top 5. I'm going to go at number 1. I'm going to go Tom Stewart. I just think that role's just too good. He's still at a cheap price. I'd be looking at him at 840k. I think he's a top 6 defender from here on in this role. So I've got Stewart at number 1 if you don't own him. At number 2, I'm going to go with... I'm actually going to go Jack Steele. I've just seen that these mark numbers are up. He's taken at least 5 in every game since the bye, and when he takes over 5, he's turned up in every game bar 1 this year. And that was a 97, so it was pretty much almost a ton. But yeah, I just like his run. Every game Marvel now, looking good. I'm a fan of Jack Steele at 871k there. And number 3, if you don't have him, I'd probably put Tristan Cherry there, just because the Geelong matchup is just so good. This would maybe be edited slightly if Reece Stanley came into the team, which I actually think he might. So I'm putting him here at 3, thinking that Blitzarves and De Koning will be there. But if Stanley came in, I don't think he'd be a top 5 target for the week, but he would still be a very good target because they got a good run. And then at number 3, was it number 4? Hang on, how many have I done? I done Stewart, then I did crap, now I've bloody lost track of who I did. So I did Stewart, yep, he was there. No, I did Steele, idiot. Steele and then Cherry. At number 4, I would put... I would say Harry Sheasel because he's a great option, but most people have got him, so I'm not going to worry about putting him there. I'm just going to put Caleb Sarong there at number 4. I just think the West Coast matchup's great. 3-week play. I really like him as an option, so he would be my number 4. And then rounding out the top 5, I did have a player in mind that wasn't on this list that I really liked as an option. Who would it be? Who was it? Now I'm trying to think of who it was. I spoke about it on the Q&A last night. Josh Dunkley. Sorry, he was right there. Josh Dunkley. Yeah, I like Dunkley as an option this week at number 5. And people are probably going to say, why are you recommending him as a top 5 option after a 61 last week? It was a tough game for one. Every midfielder's put up a bad score this year. He's going to know he didn't play great. I know they got the win, but his run for the rest of the year is pretty good. He's got Gold Coast this week. Very good history there. Look, 115 average against them. Very good matchup there. Then he's got the Saints, which I like at Marvel. Obviously played plenty of games there at Marvel with the Dogs. Giants at the Gabba's not great, but then finishes with Collingwood and Essendon. I like 4 of his last 5. 9.77, if you've got the cash to spend up, I still like him. And break-evens at this point of the year are not really as relevant. So, yeah, I really like him as an option as well. I don't mind seeing... I've seen the Essendon here match up for St Kilda. I like Sinclair in the side, but I also don't mind Jordan Ridley, who's got St Kilda this week. Could be a bit of a sneaky play there. So a lot of good options this week. I don't mind Brayshaw as well. Obviously been very, very good in 3 of the last 5, and the 2 games were against Sydney, and then the Hawthorn game where everyone scored low. So I don't mind a few of those guys. Obviously Whitfield's a great option. Zorko, Dylan Moore, all good options there. So, yeah, plenty of players that you could be considering for your teams this week. But, yeah, in terms of my trades this week, they haven't really changed too much from Sunday. So, it's still Joe Richards down to rookie. At this stage, it'd be Kynan Brown. Obviously, if a 200k rookie outside that gets named, I'll probably pick them. If I wanted to put Lawson Humphreys into my M9 spot put Caleb Smith there, the 203k, that could be something there. Then I've got an M9, and then I've got a defender rookie that's playing. So that there's a name that I might get if Kynan Brown wasn't named. And then, yeah, obviously my upgrade will be getting Sheasel, and that'll be from Jordan Dawson, who's out with concussion this week. So, yeah, I'll be getting in Sheasel. I just need him back in. They've got a great run for the rest of the year, so I think he's a must. So, yeah, they're my trades, and I'll have about 200k in the bank or whatever to hopefully get a couple of premiums next week. Just a bit of a sideways shuffle as we move into the final month of the season. So, yeah. Anyway, that'll be it for everything. But as always, let me know in the comments below what you guys are doing with your trades in round 20. And any trade questions you guys got, chuck them in the comments below, and I'll get to those when I can. And also, if you'd like to ask me a question on Q as well, head over to Ask Me on Q, spelled QU.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics. I can help you with any trade questions you've got, draft-related questions, captain, vice-captain questions. And if you want to send me through your whole team, screenshots, or type it out, whatever, or if you're just stuck, you don't know what to do, you can send through your whole team. I can answer it there for you. And you get it in audio format as well. It goes straight to email as well. So small fee for that one, but does help support the channel as well and gives you an in-depth response, more than what I could give you in the comments here or as an individual message there. So if you would like to hit that up, then the link's at the top of the description so you can't miss it as always. So appreciate everyone that has sent through questions there this season. Yeah, we'll be back on Friday, obviously for our pre-lockout chat at 6 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Perth time. Obviously, I'll be back tomorrow for the captains video, so looking forward to previewing some captains for the upcoming round. A few good options I've already had a look at, so we'll be going through those tomorrow. And yeah, no watch-along Friday night for the people that tune into the watch-alongs there. I'll be at a family dinner, so Saturday night, though, we'll be back doing a watch-along for. Not sure which game of the two yet, but we'll be back on Saturday night for the watch-along, so make sure you guys tune to that. But appreciate you guys, as always, for tuning in. And also, check out, I did a Content Creators Cup preview for the week 1, the final. So, obviously, yours truly is in the finals. He's in the qualifying final against Jep. So, looking forward to that matchup there. I preview the 4 matchups, and we take a look at the ladder of the Content Creators Cup to see who made the top 8 and what matchups are and everything like that. So, make sure you check that out as well. So, anyway, thanks, guys, for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. So, I'm out. Cheers.